up on this Civic for? See, you're being the typical, stereotypical 5-point bro, running up on some little stanced out Civic, right? Hey, what is going on, guys? We're going to start the vlog. Julie's in the shot. She doesn't like being on the camera, but I'm going to put her in it anyways. She's being a little ricer and putting stickers on her car. If the camo wasn't enough today. Alright, so you guys want to check this out. She has the GT350 replica wing installed with some digital camo. And let me hop on over here and show you guys the front. She got it roof wrapped in a blue digital camo. So, it's slightly different. It's similar to mine, but this was actually like a pre-cut type deal. So we're kind of closer to finishing her car. So right now she's got a lip, the Cervini's lip in her car, and she has got her hood getting ready to be painted. So I think, and her side skirts that need to be installed. So once that's all complete, she's actually going to be fairly done with her car, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's a couple other things I'd like to do, but for right now, once that hood's painted, it's going to look pretty nice.
Yeah, once the hood gets done, it's actually going to start to look complete. So she drops that off on Wednesday. But yeah, I mean, it looks really good. I'm going to show you guys what the rear of the spoiler looks like. It's a little dirty, but I mean, GT350 replica looks good. I like it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much almost ready for Mustang Week. We're going to see if we can get her into the Cervini's booth. I don't know. I was told by Cervini's already that I don't have to pay for a car show spot. So it's kind of taken care of. But I'm going to try to get Julie in with me as well, since she's got some Cervini stuff. And yeah, we should be good. Also, this spot is really amazing for photos. But we're going to keep it a secret for a little bit. But yeah, if you check out Julie's photos this week on her Instagram, you'll see the shots that I took over in this location.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna look awesome. Is there anything you wanted to talk about with your car for Mustang Week?
No, I mean, I wasn't even planning on bringing my car because I wasn't expecting to be able to get my hood painted in time, but like luck of the draw, everything kind of fell into place. So once the hood's painted and the chin spoiler's on, it's gonna look.
Yeah, and I think we might try to install her side skirts tomorrow, maybe. We might try. Or hell, we might just take them to the body shop and let them do it instead of us trying to kill ourselves with jack stands. I think that sounds better to me. But yeah, car's looking good. I think there's some other topics that we want to talk about. But we're going to do that. It's kind of hot out here. Just kind of wanted to do a quick little walk around of something other than my car, because you guys know what the deal is with my car. I haven't done much lately to it. But mine's still running good. As you can see on Instagram, I did a poll today with a Gen 5 Z28. And my car didn't sputter. It didn't lose power. So I think I've got a decent amount of power back from fixing the boost leaks. So, all right, guys, we're going to head inside the car and continue this conversation in some AC. Alright guys, welcome back. We are back inside Julie's car in nice, cool AC. Let's see if I can move this AC vent so it doesn't make a lot of noise for you guys. But we wanted to kind of bring up a topic of how modding was, because Julie and I are about the same age. You're 33?
I'll be 33.
You'll be 33 in about a month. I'm 34. So when I was in high school, I graduated in 2001. So when I graduated, modding was very different back then compared to what it is now. 2001 doesn't seem like that long ago, but I mean, you're looking at 15 years or 16 years. That's almost 2 decades of modding generations that have kind of gone through. And, you know, back when we were kind of like in the modding scene, I want to say like things were ricier back then. Like people were putting like I mean, you can go to AutoZone and pretty much get your fill for wings.
That was right when Fast and Furious.
Yes.
The very first one came out, because I remember leaving the movie that day And
Yeah.
all these racer, cars with neons and fart cans were peeling out of the parking lot.
I mean, like little neon tubes at Walmart and Target and AutoZone were selling like hotcakes, right? People were installing the shit in their roof and their headliners, and it was beating to the music. And like things back then, it kind of just like that was the peak, right? When the first couple Fast and the Furiouses came out, like I wasn't like super into cars growing up. Like I like cars, like everybody had that Lamborghini, poster that they got at the book fair and shit like that. But like I was never like, I didn't grow up in a car family per se. So, I have no shame in saying that like Fast and the Furious kind of jump-started my passion for cars, right? Even if it was probably not in the best direction, because at the time I had like a Ford Taurus for high school. So I didn't have like a super crazy car. You had what?
98 Saturn.
So yeah, you had a 98 Saturn, which is more sportier than a Ford Taurus. But hey, I was thankful for what I had, a car to have in general. So yeah, like when I had the Taurus, I did some stupid shit with it. I went to Pep Boys, spent my entire paycheck on a muffler, went to that shop right there, and they cut the Taurus muffler off, and they installed the 3A racing muffler, and like I did the stupid seat covers and everything. But yeah, like Julie had the Saturn, and she kind of went a little crazy with hers too. I'm gonna kind of drop a picture of her Saturn over here that she sent me. But yeah, I mean, you did a lot of stuff with Nopi, right?
Yeah, I have my little Saturn crew, if you want to say, and then with that we went to Nopi Nationals and did like hot import nights, and even though I had a Saturn, but yeah, we did a lot of stuff in the car scene, and I was only 16, 17 at the time. It was pretty big.
And when I got to college, that was when I bought a Cougar. Like, I wanted a Mitsubishi Eclipse, of course, right? Fast and the Furious. Mitsubishi wouldn't finance me. And my second choice was a Honda Prelude. I love the new Honda Preludes. Once again, Honda wouldn't finance me. And if you take a look at those automakers today, Mitsubishi doesn't really have... The Evo's gone, right? Honda doesn't really... They have a new Type R, but, I mean, that's expensive as shit with markups. So you kind of... They didn't really take advantage and ride that, right? Like, back in the day, Dodge had the SRT4, which kind of just was like, it kind of bred that I guess that automotive front-wheel drive, turbocharged, affordable car, fun car to have without spending a shit ton of money. And I don't think Mitsubishi and Honda really caught on to that because, I mean, new SIs are still pretty expensive. Yeah. I mean, you can get a gently used 5-liter or a Camaro, like a nice, powerful car. And, the other thing is, like, in the 90s and early 2000s, domestic cars, the interiors were just, like, absolute horseshit. Like, it was just a lot of plastic. And when I got my WRX, I was just like, well, all right, my WRX had a lot of plastic, too, and it had a lot of creaks and stuff. And a couple years ago, when I was looking for my S550, I test drove a new Impreza WRX. It was like a 2015. And that thing had more plastic than my S197 GT had. And they're asking like high 30s. But that kind of goes off the topic a little bit. But the general modding trends have kind of changed a lot, where people don't do anything crazy, right? Crazy, when you think of crazy Mustangs, I'll try to keep this more Mustang focused. Yeah, over there. Oh, it won't focus. Well, there we go. When you think of crazy modding, you think of like what? Bags, flares, crazy paint job, right? Wraps. Back in like 2000, people were like cutting hoods and having them automatically split open, like really interesting things, right? And there were just really bad things too if people didn't have the money to engineer something like that. The trunks that had their own pneumatic systems where they would open in a different way than they did from the factory. Like, people did a lot of crazy shit back then that was so different from what you would get today. And a lot of people, like, that didn't grow up then, or they were just really young, or even the old guys. Like, I think you have two different types of people. when you have someone that's judging your modding taste, right? You got the really older generation that modded in like the 90s or the 80s even, or earlier, that they don't typically like anything new, any new trends, any new waves of things that come through. Then you got us, right? That kind of grew up in the automotive scene in the early 2000s, got to see like the height of rice, and then it kind of just taper off.
Because now it's changed from like neons and crazy rims to now you see the stance and the camber and how low you can get.
Yep.
And that wasn't really the case back then.
Exactly. And then you've got the other generation, which is like the kids that are modding their car. The kids that are modding their cars that like all they've really known is either like light mods and stance, right? The wheels and a drop is a build to them. And I mean, I'm not knocking it, right? Like the import community isn't very, I guess, performance driven. So that's kind of a change. Like back in the day, it used to be like import versus domestic, right? That was a big thing. The Honda guys, the 3000 GT guys, all those guys were like against the Mustangs, the Camaros, and things like that. Do you want to make a loop around the horsepower?
Yeah.
Okay. So back then, the main mentality was like, all right, we're gonna do import versus domestic. That's kind of died down. Like, yeah, you have import face-off, you have those, but take a look at the types of cars that you see in the import world now. Everybody's still stuck in the 90s and early 2000s. They want the Supras, they want the 240s, they want the WRXs for like the bug eyes and the blob eyes. Like, there's nothing new in the import world that really kind of drives any bit of a change.
I mean, the only thing would be the BRZ and the FRSs.
Yeah, and you're looking at mid-20s to low $30,000 for a BRZ, a new one that's somewhat fully loaded, and you're only getting 200 something horsepower. It's just the interior isn't like $35,000 worth, in my opinion. The BRZs and the FRSs kind of remind me of like the Celicas back in the day. The lightweight cars had the really sharp looks to it. I mean, obviously the Celica was front wheel drive and the BRZ's rear wheel drive, but they need a little bit more power in the BRZ, at least a turbo, something. But you look at, if you're saying, okay, I want to buy an import car, you really kind of have to look in the past to find something that's somewhat affordable and has a performance aftermarket that's there, that's been established. But on the other hand, when you take a look at like Dodges, Chevy, Ford, I mean,
you want the newer ones.
Yeah, the newer ones, like you have really like good interiors. You have good power. I mean, hell, the 2018 Mustang is going to come with 460 horsepower bone stock in a car that's probably going to be around $35,000, $40,000 after the early adopter tax kind of goes away. That's amazing.
And the interior, I mean, you get basically this interior,
yeah,
but you get the digital dash, which would, that's probably the one thing I want on the 2018.
Oh, the new dash cluster?
Yeah,
that is pretty sexy. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's shifted, right? A lot of people wanted the imports back in the 2000s, early 2000s. Like, you weren't cool. I mean, you probably could have a couple certain cars, but you weren't really cool unless you had a souped up import, if you were back in that scene. Of course, there was still the drag racer bros and that scene, but they kind of were still tightly knit. You had the Fox Body guys or whatever, or even the SN guys. But it's just kind of shown how things have changed. And now you've got that generation that kind of, you're starting to notice more people like 350 owners, 370 owners, FRS owners, like Miata owners, that are kind of coming to the V8 world where you're getting a lot more for your money. So with that being said, a lot of the mentality and the taste for certain mods, you're starting to see more of that Rocket Bunny wide body flare look, the import style wheels, the Volks, the SSRs, the work wheels start to be installed on domestic cars. And to me, it's like, since I grew up in mostly an import culture, even though I haven't always loved, like, I've loved both cars. I've had Subarus, I've had Nissans, I've had, you know, all kinds of things. Like, I like seeing that. Even though I think it's kind of stale now, like, there's not a lot of interesting stuff in the S550 world. Like, there's nothing that, like, is like, whoa, you know. Who knows? Like, I think the aftermarket's just going to get better and kind of appeal to that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, watching some of the builds in the past, you can kind of see where everyone's kind of aiming towards going toward, like, a little bit of that import look. I mean, Bongsu has the EcoBoost on work wheels, bagged, flared. Like, he's got a little bit of everything going on that you would see on, like, the import community. So they're kind of blending in together, because the only import that I really like that's out is the 350 or 370Zs. And even then, because I've had two of them, and I absolutely love them, but that was about all I enjoyed.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, I think I'm about to run out of tape. Also, memory card. Tape. About to run out of tape. So I'm going to have to cut this vlog a little short. But we'll continue talking on maybe on the next round. So take it easy, guys. Bye.